Public Accounts Committee. And Murtala presented himself in playing that critical oversight role, that even information that may not be directly available in reports before us, he has a way of getting such information and bringing it out to help the work of the committee. In our travels to the regions, you will find us together at one point after a very tiring day, sharing jokes and talking about the future. The future at that point, all of us didn't know that I will be standing here today talking about him and he is no more. Speaker, he played his role in terms of representing his people. And in one area that our people have come to understand that it's become part and parcel of our responsibility, even though not clearly captured in the Constitution, about development, Honorable Dr. Murtala understood that as MP, he needed to play that role. He will go to everywhere, low and high, looking for development opportunities for his people. And that explains why within a very short time, you could see a number of development projects. And that the weekend, when the unfortunate incident happened, he was supposed to be cutting sod for a health project to commence. It tells us how dedicated he was to his duty. When it comes to lawmaking, which is another key role of Parliament, when he's on his feet contributing to the process, you will think that he's actually a lawyer. He truly understood the processes. And one clear thing about Murtala, he speaks as if he's so angry and he has something against you. But immediately he makes that statement. The next moment, he has forgotten about it. That was the person that he was. That he didn't carry anger beyond the time that most persons will do. We have truly lost a comrade who calls everybody a comrade. Even our colleagues on the other side who refuse to be described as such, he will force it on them that you are comrades. Beyond the separation, beyond being in another party, we see ourselves as comrades. We have lost him, but Mr. Speaker, it tells us one thing, that is the only day none of us here know when it will come. And it is therefore very necessary to prepare for that day and ask yourself that when you are called, what will be said of you? I pray that the Almighty Allah will forgive him for any iniquities, anything he would have done untoward, and make his resting place a calm one for him. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity, and the MP who took over after him for making this statement. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Abujinapo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to contribute to the brilliant statement made by my friend, the Member of Parliament for Tamale Central, in honor of the memory of my friend and brother, the Honorable Dr. Mohamed Murtala Ibrahim. Mr. Speaker, let me put on record that Dr. Murtala Ibrahim was not only a friend, but I should say he was a brother, because as you may know, part of his lineage comes from Daboya in the Savannah region of Ghana, and he spoke impeccable Gunja. Mr. Speaker, it was of great joy whenever we met and took ourselves into the traditions of Gunjaland and Savannah region. Mr. Speaker, we all know that Dr. Murtala was an intellect and academic par excellence. He loved the book, and indeed, until his untimely death, he had piled a good deal of certificates and qualifications and scholarship in academia. Mr. Speaker, he also served his constituents well and diligently, and he held his corner very strongly. He was such a strong defender of the National Democratic Congress, but with all that, Mr. Speaker, he still made very good friends across the divide, and him and I had our banters and political engagements over the years, but that never disturbed our friendship and brotherhood. Mr. Speaker, that goes to testify to Dr. Mutala's nature and respect of humanity and the need for us to engage in politics without animosity. Mr. Speaker, as minister, I had the privilege and opportunity to engage him, even within that short period that he served as Minister for Environment. As you know, Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources and that of Environment work very closely. And even before he was sworn in, we had several engagements, particularly as it related to climate change and Ghana's leadership in the climate space or on the climate stage. And he had such brilliant ideas, and he was with a lot of promise and had a lot of plans for the Ministry of Environment, some of which he actually began implementing as minister. And so, Mr. Speaker, let me conclude by thanking his successor, the Member of Parliament for Tamale Central, Professor Seydou Mahama Alidu, for making this very timely and impressive statement in honor of the memory of Dr. Mutala Ibrahim, and also say that his soul, his gentle soul, continue to rest in perfect peace. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, honourable member, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the statement made by the member for Tamale Central. The Speaker, I met the late Honorable Dr. Mutala Mohammed at the University of Ghana, Legon, when all of us were there as students. And Mr. Speaker, when you meet Honorable Dr. Mutala the first time, his sense of humor, you know, the humanity in him, Mr. Speaker, is one person you always want to be with. His understanding of issues, especially when it comes to the history of this country. He would debate anybody, especially when it comes to the issue of Kwame Nkrumah and his achievements and the work that he did throughout this country. Mutala was saying, debating everybody comes across who tend to oppose or support Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Mr. Speaker, when we led University of Ghana and NDC won elections in 2008, Honorable Dr. Mutala was appointed to the Youth Authority, and he served diligently, served to the very best of his ability, and issues about youth empowerment was very, very dear to his heart. And so anytime you meet him, you have a conversation about how we can empower the young people across the country. Later, he was moved to Ministry of Information, and then, Mr. Speaker, he left one constituency to Tamale Central when he lost the elections and still won the elections. And anybody who has visited Tamale Central ever since will attest to the fact that this was a man who was committed to his work. The development that he brought to the area is there for all to see. Mr. Speaker, the day before Dr. Mutala's passing, we met in the same chamber, and I agreed to meet the following day for a conversation, not knowing that that was the last time I was interacting with him. Mr. Speaker, when the news came, it was so heartbroken. Nobody would expect anything like that to happen. But as the good book said, in all things, we should give thanks to God. He served his country well. He served our party well. He served his constituency well. We can only pray that Allah himself forgive him of all his sins and give him rest wherever he is. We will continue to miss him. We will continue to hold steadfast the ideas and the philosophy and the things that he believes in. Dr. Mutala doesn't get close to corruption. He will fight it to the very end. And I believe that if all of us politicians can dedicate ourselves to that, this country will go far. Once again, Mr. Speaker, let me thank you very much for the opportunity and also thank the maker of the statement. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Adams.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for this opportunity to comment on the statement made by the MP for Tamale Central. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Murtala was a source of inspiration and motivation to a lot of young people in this country, especially Tamale Central and the entire northern part of the country. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Murtala was a true Muslim and deep-rooted in the deen of Islam, and he had commanding understanding of the Islamic teachings. And what I think Honorable Murtala needs now is our prayers. Wherever he finds himself, may the Almighty Allah have mercy on his soul. Mr. Speaker, I want to use this opportunity to call on my colleague Muslims in this chamber, today being Friday, so that we can recite Qul Huwallahu for Honorable Murtala and all our departure souls. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Qul Huwallahu Ahad, Allahu Samad, Lam Yalid Walam Yulam Walam Yakul Lahu Kufuwan Ahad. Qul Huwallahu Ahad, Allahu Samad, Lam Yalid Walam Yulam Walam Yakul Lahu Kufuwan Ahad. Qul Huwallahu Ahad, Allahu Samad, Lam Yalid Walam Yulam Walam Yakul Lahu Kufuwan Ahad. Mr. Speaker, this is what I think Honorable Murtala needs right now. Thank you very much.
So, how do you expect the Hansa to capture what you have said?
To eat, may the soul of Honorable Murtala rest in perfect peace. Thank you very much.
I don't think all that you have said only means may his soul rest in peace. Yes, minority leadership.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this chamber parliament, we've lost a brother, we've lost a colleague, we've lost a minister. Mr. Speaker, I was very close to Honorable Murtala. He was a father, a teacher, and everybody know him in the northern region. Mr. Speaker, even just going through the statement, I realized what he told me some time ago when his successor, Professor Aludu, addressed him as Dr. Muhammad Murtala Ibrahim. He always tells me that, Habib, don't address me as Dr. Muhammad Murtala, rather address me as Alhaji Murtala, because when I die, my PhD is gone, it's nothing, but I'll die with the title Alhaji. Mr. Speaker, sometime in 2024, he came to my office and he told me that, Habib, I have sent over 100 people to Hajj, but do you know that I have never been to Hajj myself? And when I was a deputy minister, when I was a CEO, I would always assist my constituents and people in need to send them to Hajj. And I don't know when I'll die. I want to perform the Hajj with my wife. Then I told him, by then I was a member of the Ghana Hajj Board. I told him that Senior Bro is a good idea. And then he said, I want to do it with his wife. So myself, my wife, and him and his wife, we performed the Hajj together. In fact, we were in one room.
Which one of your wife?
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Honorable Mr. Speaker, Honorable Murtala Muhammad performed the Hajj with his beautiful wife, and I performed the Hajj with my beautiful wife, Hajia Asma'u Salifu. Mr. Speaker, when he told me that, and when we performed the Hajj, Mr. Speaker, when we performed the Hajj, I remember at a point, I told him that we should be able. Speaker, I remember at a point, I told him that we should take a bus, as we were supposed to walk about 13 kilometers on foot with his wife. And then he told me that this is a religious exercise. The Holy Prophet did it. We can do it. So myself and him and other part of us, we walk over 23 kilometers on our foot, because we walk 13 kilometers from Muzdalifah to Jamarat and then to Haram. And we walk back from Haram back to Mina on that day. Mr. Speaker, a year after, he came back to my office during Ramadan. And then he said, I want to perform the last 10 days of Ramadan in Mecca, doing Umrah. And I asked him, but we just returned from Hajj last year. He told me that if you perform Umrah, the last 10 days of Ramadan, it's like you have performed Hajj with the Holy Prophet side by side. So we should go. The initiating the right Honorable Speaker Alban Babin initiated to the Muslim caucus by helping us to perform the Umrah. Myself and him together, we performed Umrah last Ramadan. And then he was supposed to go to Paris for a conference and then join me in Mecca. He asked me to book a room for him because he never knew and he's not sure whether he will live to see another year again. So this is something that he wants to do. I went to Umrah again with my wife. He later on joined us. And Mr. Speaker, that's the end of the story. End of the story, a very painful death, and a death that I am happy with. Mr. Speaker, I'm a Muslim, and knowing Alhaji Murtala and how he died, Mr. Speaker, I am very, very happy he died that way. I am happy because it is stated in our religion, and it is our belief, that if you die in a painful situational death, any punishment that God's supposed to give you, that is the punishment that you have, and you go straight to Jannah. That means that you'll be in paradise. I am very convinced that today, Alhaji Murtala is in paradise as we try to either eulogize him or speak about this painful and tragic death that besieged us in this country. And I was happy that when my colleague, Honorable Murtala, was reciting verses of the Quran, and that verse that he recited was in response to the oneness of Allah. When the Holy Prophet was confronted to ask about who his God was. So when he said, Kul huwa Allahu ahad, it was a command. Say, my Lord is one. And he went on to say, my Lord is self-sufficient. Lam yalid wa lam yulad. He begets not, nor was he begotten. And there was nothing compared to God. And that is how I would describe Honorable Murtala. And I think that as colleagues, we should love each other. Yesterday, I was at that we should love each other because life is very short. Life is very short. Yesterday, I was in a meeting with the majority leader at a business committee meeting when we saw that two of our colleagues were involved in an accident. The minister responsible for education and the deputy minister for communication. Death can come at any time, in a minute, in a second. Last night, myself and my colleague, Honorable Jerry Ahmed Shaib, we were at 37 to visit the education minister and the deputy minister. Anything can happen to us. As we are in this chamber, we do politics, but let us have a clean heart. Whatever we say in this chamber, it shouldn't follow us out, because you never know when you are going to die. And you should not be able to harbor something. Mr. Speaker, sometimes I say certain things in this chamber, and anybody who knows me very well, I will not take anybody matter to sleep. No, I don't have that space in my heart. Whatever I say here, I make sure that I leave it here because I might not even sleep and get up, Mr. Speaker. So as we eulogize him, I'll call on colleagues that when we are here, the 276 of us, we are family, we are one. That day, we never know that we were losing one of our colleagues. And I'll urge us that we should love each other. It is in the Bible, it is in the Quran. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Yes, majority.
Speaker, I am seizing the opportunity to add my voice to the statement commemorating the departure of our brave brother, and we are eulogizing him, I should say. Speaker, everyone in this chamber knows or knew of the relationship that he and I had. For that weekend, we had agreed that we would travel to Tamale for him to continue with his community engagement. And normally, anytime we go to Tamale, he had accommodation ready for me. We'll do the rounds normally early mornings and in the evenings. And then in the afternoons, we do other rounds. Speaker Murtala was a formidable voice on this floor and outside of it. He had strong convictions of his views and positions on matters. Normally but on occasions that is against you, trouble for you. My brother became a confidant, and he just evaporated. He wasn't sick. Murtala just vanished. And there are several persons on this floor who, for the sheer relationship they had, they are not even able to speak. We pray that the Lord forgives his transgressions and receives him in heaven. I'm concerned about his son, very lovely boy. And I believe that he'll grow to take after his father, character, his public appeal, and also become a very formidable national figure, whether in politics or in academia. I remember that when we lost Kumi, and a statement was brought for us to eulogize him, he had come in. He called me and said, wait. I want to add my voice. So he came and was here. If I recall, if we were not, you was second deputy who was in the chair. And we had agreed on numbers. So he came to me and said, if you don't, we'll beat you outside. I mean, that was the kind of person he was. And he had the opportunity, and he spoke eloquently and fondly about who Kumi was, even though Kumi hadn't spent too much on this floor. But he spoke passionately about his work and told us, he quoted the Quran copiously that day, that all of us, we could wake up, we could sleep and not wake up. And so, again, he spoke to us loving each other. Like Habib said, we may do things on the floor, but at all material times, we must let love be the determinant so that we don't hurt each other too much. Because persons have been here, they've left. We too will live someday. But the memories and the fellow feeling that we shared is what others will remember. Just here. And so, Speaker, we should love one another. Murtala was a member of parliament. I remember our days on the other side. And Pandai knows I love him. He knows the things we do well on principle. So that is by the by. I remember our days on the other side when the Honorable Muntaka put us into some formidable group of 7. Occasionally will be 9. But myself, himself, Honorable Yusuf Obole, Honorable Sam George, Honorable Suhini, Honorable Edward Bauer, Honorable Ernest Nogbe, Honorable Jinapo, and the arrowhead was Honorable Azikadungu. We did things. We did things that politics permitted us to do. We became formidable on the floor, and occasionally when we had to do those things, when during consideration, Speaker, you yourself, you joined us and led the process. So he left such an indelible mark on this floor. And so we can only emulate the work, the passion, and the commitment that he demonstrated to the parliamentary work. I cannot say much. I can only wish his young family the best, and urge. I'm in leadership, so I won't say urge leadership. Maybe with the support of leader, we may have to think of putting some structure together so that occasionally, leader mooted the idea. I believe we have to go back to it. Occasionally, to reach out to the family every now and then. It delayed, but today we are doing it. And so I thank you for the opportunity, and to urge the entire Tamale Central NDC executives, they know me very well, that they should support Professor Alidu to continue the work that the Honorable Murtala Muhammad Alhaji was doing for them. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity.
Honourable members, thank you very much. May we observe a minute's silence. Let's be on our feet. May the soul of Honorable Alhaji Dr. Muhammad Muntala Ibrahim rest in the bosom of the Almighty Allah. Amen. Honorable members, I'll take 3 minutes of suspension, then we'll continue with a statement in honor of Jerry Ahmed Shaib. Mr. Speaker. Honourable members, kindly resume your seat. Honourable Jerry Ahmed Shaib, you have the honour of making the statement on the floor on the World Radio Day.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for indulging me. Mr. Speaker, yesterday, the 12th of February, 2026, marked another significant commemoration of World Radio Day. Mr. Speaker, a global observance proclaimed by the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization and formally adopted through the UN's General Assembly resolution. Mr. Speaker, this day celebrates radio as a powerful medium that shapes public discourse, preserves cultural heritage, facilitates democratic participation, and serves as a critical instrument for information dissemination across geographical, socio-economic, and technological divides. World Radio Day recognizes radio's unique capacity to reach diverse audiences, foster community dialogues, and provide platforms for marginalized voices that may otherwise remain unheard in our national conversations. Mr. Speaker, the history of radio broadcasting in Ghana is inseparably linked to our colonial past and represents a fascinating evolution from an instrument of colonial administration to a vibrant pillar of democratic governance and cultural expression. The early years of radio in Ghana were characterized by centralized state control, with broadcasting serving primarily governmental information dissemination and nation-building objectives during the Nkrumah era. The landscape of radio broadcasting, Mr. Speaker, in Ghana has undergone dramatic transformation since the liberalization of the airwaves in the 1990s, when the National Media Commission began licensing private radio stations following the promulgation of the 1992 Constitution, which guaranteed freedom of expression and media pluralism. According to the National Communications Authority 2024 annual report, Ghana now boasts over 450 licensed radio stations across the country, comprising state-owned broadcasters, commercial stations, community radio stations, and campus-based broadcasters, representing an extraordinary proliferation that has fundamentally democratized access to information and transformed Ghana's media landscape. Mr. Speaker, the role that radio has played in strengthening Ghana's democracy cannot be overstated, and this House must acknowledge the medium's vital contribution to our political development and democratic consolidation. Mr. Speaker, radio serves multiple critical functions within our democratic architecture, beginning with its fundamental role in information dissemination, ensuring that citizens across all 16 regions, regardless of literacy levels or economic status, have access to news about government policies, parliamentary proceedings, electoral processes, and civic responsibilities. The United Nations Development Programme's 2023 assessment of media and democracy in West Africa highlighted Ghana as a regional leader in press freedom, noting that radio's penetration into rural areas and peri-urban communities has significantly enhanced political participation and governmental accountability. Mr. Speaker, radio stations across Ghana have consistently provided platforms for marginalized and vulnerable populations, including women, youth, persons with disabilities, and ethnic minorities, to articulate their concerns, challenge injustice, and participate in national conversations from which they might otherwise be excluded. Mr. Speaker, the watchdog function performed by radio journalists cannot be underestimated, as investigative reporting broadcast across various stations has exposed corruption. Reporting broadcast across various stations has exposed corruption, inefficiency, and malfeasance in both public and private sectors, compelling institutional reforms and protecting public interest. Mr. Speaker, during election cycles, radio serves as the primary medium through which political parties communicate their manifestos. Candidates engage with constituents, and the Electoral Commission disseminates vital information about registration, voting procedures, and results, making radio indispensable to the electoral process. Mr. Speaker, as World Radio Day was commemorated yesterday, the government of Ghana is respectfully asked to issue an urgent call for the creation of an enabling environment within which media institutions can function effectively without fear, intimidation, or arbitrary interference. The government must demonstrate its commitment to press freedom by ensuring that radio stations and journalists are protected from attacks, harassment, and violence perpetrated by security agencies and political operatives, or any other actor seeking to silence critical voices. To my fellow honorable members of Parliament, we must commit to enacting robust laws that institutionalize protections for radio broadcasting and ensure that sector's sustainable growth and development. In commemoration of this important day, we all, regardless of political affiliation, must champion media freedom in our constituencies, speak out against attacks on journalists, and to recognize that a free and vibrant press ultimately serves the interests of democracy and national development rather than partisan political objectives. To media owners, you must ensure that your investment in the professional development and capacity building of radio practitioners, ensuring that journalists and broadcasters possess the requisite skills, ethical grounding, and resources necessary to discharge their responsibilities with fairness, accuracy, and integrity. Mr. Speaker, media owners must resist the temptation toward sensationalism and yellow journalism that prioritizes ratings and revenue over truth and public interest. Radio stations must establish and enforce rigorous editorial standards, fact-checking mechanisms, and ethical guidelines that prevent spread of misinformation and disinformation. Media organizations must provide adequate remuneration and working conditions for journalists, recognizing that poorly compensated and insecure media workers are vulnerable to corruption and ethical practices that undermine the profession's credibility. Mr. Speaker, as we conclude this commemoration, let us remember that radio is far more than a technological medium or a commercial enterprise. Radio represents the very lifeblood of democratic discourse, the amplifier of citizen voices, the guardian against governmental excess, and the bridge connecting our diverse communities into a united or unified national conversation. From the earliest broadcast during colonial administration to the current explosion of stations across our nation, radio has evolved into a crucial democratic infrastructure that informs, educates, entertains, and empowers our people. The health of our democracy is directly related to the vitality of our media sector. And the freedom of our radio stations to broadcast without fear or favor stands as a fundamental measure of our commitment to constitutional governance and human rights. Mr. Speaker, let me commend highly the likes of Chairman General Kwame Sefakan, OB of Asempa, Nanaya Okesi of PCF, Bolare, Bernard Avle, Kofi Kumbilson, Kojo Yankson, Samuel Atamensa, and all radio presenters. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity.
Members, that is a statement on the World Radio Day. Yes, honourable member, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the statement ably made by Honourable Member for Weja Bawe, Jerry Ahmed. Mr. Speaker, while I commend the Speaker, I commend the maker of this statement for his deep research into the topic, that is radio broadcasting in Ghana. It is important to also mention that radio broadcasting has actually led to education, especially in our rural communities, as it has informed some communities in the rural areas. Rural broadcasting or radio broadcasting also entertains our people. Radio broadcasting also empowers our people, as it encourages some of them to speak out on some of the activities that are nefarious, which could have been hidden and will never have been known. Mr. Speaker, it is important to also mention that all these good achievements in radio broadcasting will forever remain a mirage if the rights of journalists are not protected. For this reason, it is important to mention that the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana 1992 stipulates that every Ghanaian should have the right to speak, should have the right to express himself at any time without any interference or without any intimidation. Mr. Speaker, while I commend the Speaker also, I also want to commend the Minister of Communication, the Minister of Information, the government, and the national security, that currently we can see that there is that freedom being expressed everywhere by journalists. Unlike some times past, Mr. Speaker, some journalists were forced into self-imposed exile simply because of their media comments that they made. So I want to use this opportunity to commend also the government led by His Excellency President Mahama for granting that media freedom, once again restoring that confidence in our journalists. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Yes, Honorable Asafoye.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to commend the maker of the statement, Honorable Jerry Ahmed Shaibu. Mr. Speaker, exactly a year today, on this very floor, I also made this statement commending or commemorating the World Radio Day. Mr. Speaker, my colleague Jerry has done some very good work, leaving a little for us to speak about. I mean, the importance of radio in this country can never be underestimated. Mr. Speaker, I mean, the contribution that it has given to us and how it has enriched our democracy is something that we always need to commend, and we should not forget days like this to celebrate it. Mr. Speaker, as for the importance, he has mentioned it. But Mr. Speaker, I only want to look at one aspect that was not really highlighted, which is the challenges of radio in this contemporary world or this space now. Mr. Speaker, one of the challenges is the technology now that is shifting. Because there are cars that are coming now that do not have the AM and the FM buttons in the cars. The technology drive in the car does not even create space for some of these radios to function in them. Mr. Speaker, there is another crippling issue that have to do with the generational shift. Mr. Speaker, young ones of these days, particularly the Gen Zs, find and sees radio as archaic, outmoded, and old-fashioned. Mr. Speaker, it is something that we need to look at. There was an article that was written that was titled, "Radio is not dying, but it is evolving." Mr. Speaker, it is key and important that we must also highlight some of these things and let the practitioners know that as we are evolving, as technology is changing, as the media space is getting fragmented, it is important that you also evolve to meet and suit the challenges and the changes of the day. Mr. Speaker, he mentioned another key critical issue that has to do with the rights of the practitioners, protecting the rights of the practitioners. Mr. Speaker, it's important. Our laws, our rules gives that provision for the protection of the rights of the practitioners. Mr. Speaker, whilst we are encouraging that these laws are implemented to the latter, Mr. Speaker, it is also key and critical that the things that he mentioned, that we check the practitioners themselves and how they conduct themselves. Mr. Speaker, he talked about fact-finding and fact-checking the things they put out, which is key and critical. He mentioned misinformation. Mr. Speaker, it is important. Now, when you go to our media space, particularly the radio space, a lot of misinformation, and you ask yourself that, what due diligence, what fact checks did some of these practitioners do? This guy is important. Whilst we are talking about their right, we must also highlight the importance of they being professional in what they do and how they do what they do. Now, I think we must also look at, as a house of law, we must look at how to test the professionalism of those who sit and practice media. How do we qualify them? On what basis do we say this one is qualified and passed to even speak on radio, to present program, or to speak about very important national issues? What are the criteria that we use to determine some of these people? We are checking the Ghana law. We are checking what do you call it? The doctors, all the professionals. We are checking them. Yes. Nurses and all that. It is important that the journalists, the practitioners of these media, must also have a certain benchmark to check them, so that we do not have people who are not qualified being on our airspace and polluting or misinforming Ghanaians about a lot of things. Mr. Speaker, I must also add my voice to the very professional journalist Jerry Ahmed Shaibu commended. Mr. Speaker, I think there are more. And by so doing, so not to mention names and leave some out, I will also commend all professional journalists in this country and tell them that we appreciate their work as we celebrate World Radio Day. There cannot be radio without they or without them, participating or practicing what in that space. So we commend them and we appreciate them. We are only urging that they help build and strengthen the democracy we are practicing. Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I want to thank you.
Well, the radio we've taken 1-1. Do I move to the leadership? Very well. You make the statement. You can't contribute to it again.
Speaker, but I'm in leadership.
So you have nothing to yield.
Speaker, I have a dual role. So, Speaker, please respect.
I will recognize him in that capacity. But not because you are yielding, because
I withdraw,
you have nothing to yield. Yes, Honorable Dr. Kabiru.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it will be amiss that such a brilliant and well-researched statement is made by the respected member for Wejagbawe without comment coming from members of the Communication Information Committee. Mr. Speaker, the foundation for that statement is grounded in the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. Article 162 has established the freedom of the media. And Article 21 specifically guarantees the freedom of every person, their right to freedom of expression, which include the freedom of the media and press. Mr. Speaker, these constitutional dictates, these constitutional guarantees are for every person. And it is for good reasons why the framers of this constitution made for us those laws. Mr. Speaker, as we celebrate World Radio Day, we need to remind ourselves that it is in furtherance of this constitution that the criminal libel laws were removed or repealed from our statutes, and that leaders of old, people who have been in this house before us, saw the need to repeal any law that seeks to inhibit, to repeal any law that seeks to put a fetter on the freedom of expression. And the fourth aspect of the realm was to be given unfettered access to report without fear or favor. Mr. Speaker, radio is one of the foremost tools we have used to advance development in this country. Mr. Speaker, I remember as a young boy, I listened to most of what was happening in Accra through Savannah Radio in the northern region, which was a national broadcaster. Radio has become a tool for national development. Mr. Speaker, we had what we call farm radio, where rural farmers get to learn about the rudiments, practices, agricultural practices through the radio. Mr. Speaker, we had radio for health, where basic health promotion, we got educated on personal hygiene using the radio. So the radio has become an indispensable tool for national development. And as we celebrate this day, we need to ask ourselves, does national radio, do we still have this particular role that was played of old by this current radio we have? Mr. Speaker, I beg to answer this question in the negative. There seems to be the shift of attention away from national discourses or things that will promote national unity and development to issues that are promoting clicks and likes. It appears that if your radio station is not a merchant of controversy, you don't seem to have listenership. And I think that operators of radio stations would have to recalibrate, would have to relook at how they see their radio stations, how they see their platform, how they can use their platform to promote national cohesion and national development. Mr. Speaker, but as we talk about the importance of national radio or radio to national development, even the very essence of participatory democracy and inclusive governance, the radio has a cardinal role to play. And I think that we cannot overlook the importance of radio to our national development. But, Mr. Speaker, the threat of new media is a great threat to the survival of radio, and these radio stations, as we even mentioned, is the source of entertainment, education, and information for people who are located in the rural areas. For anything at all, if you have a radio box, you can listen to whatever is happening in any part of the country, especially once you have radio network within your area. But the proliferation of new media is one of the threats to traditional media, and much so for people who are in rural areas. Mr. Speaker, how do we position our national media in line with the Article 163 of the Constitution to be able to play this role that we want the national radio station to? Mr. Speaker, I also want to acknowledge the abuse of radio, as my colleagues have stated. We know of the Rwanda experience, Mr. Speaker. I don't think that, and let me commend the National Communication Authority in line with ensuring and instilling discipline in sanitizing the radio space. They have had cause to revoke the licenses of some of these particular radio stations. But we need to caution them that the abuse of the platform is a recipe for danger or chaos, because we have had it happening in Rwanda, where radio stations were the basis for a genocide. And I think that we need to be careful about it. Mr. Speaker, but I will also want to note about the threat. I want to note about the threat, and that is where I'm going to land on, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the threat to Article 121 of the Constitution. In this country, Mr. Speaker, the freedom of the media is endangered. And I want to note it clearly that recently, And I give the GH1 as an example, Mr. Speaker. The editorial independence of journalists is threatened in this country. Editorial independence of journalists is threatened in this country. Lili Mohammed of GH1 had cause to express views criticizing a government official. Less than 24 hours, she was asked to withdraw that particular statement, and the media station apologized, and that statement being pulled down. There was nothing defamatory about that statement. There was nothing libelous about that statement, but the Lili Mohammed was asked to withdraw. That is a huge threat. That is a huge threat.
Honorable member, you should be guided that in commenting on a statement, your comment must not generate debate. Restrict yourself to the rules and conclude.
Mr. Speaker, I am very clear, and I'm not indulging in this.
Please conclude.
Mr. Speaker, I will conclude. Mr. Speaker, I will conclude. Mr. Speaker, I would conclude, but I want to make the point clear that I am not violating the rules of this House.
Honourable member, your time is up. Resume your seat.
Mr. Speaker, I must put
your
on
time
register.
is up. Resume your seat.
This is so unfair, and I must put it on register that it's all so unfair, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
What is unfair? The rule says your comment must not exceed 5 minutes. It is not everlasting time that you have. So if I say you are not operating within the rules, your comment is generating debates. Honorable member, I do not know you to be disrespectful. The rule says that when the speaker is speaking, all other members must listen to the speaker in silence. Your conduct is noticed to be disorderly. Clearly, I must place it on record. We are guided by rules. And now we have to ensure that we operate within the ambit of the rules. I am fair to all manner of people. So to say that I'm not fair to you, I take a great exception to it. You will notice that we even spoke beyond the prescribed period. And I'm warning you, conclude. Your statement must not generate into debate. What is unfair about this?
Mr. Speaker, I wish to pray that, please, it's sometimes when...
No, I don't like any member to take liberty for license.
Mr. Speaker, let me take this opportunity to respectfully ask that, please, calm down for us as well, and so that we can make some progress. Mr. Speaker, please, let's have some calm so we can make some progress. Speaker, thank you very much, sir.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I think that, honorable colleagues, let's try as much as possible, and I mean no disrespect to anybody, but let's try and as much as possible defer to the chair. The Speaker gives guidance. You may not be happy, but the way that you react may also spoil your case. I think you should be careful what you are doing. It's not good practice. I'm on my feet speaking about the same thing, and you are sitting there and then talking back at me. It doesn't function that way. I've been in this chamber for more than a decade, so please be careful. You don't do that. And then you don't extend it to Speaker. You may not like something, but you don't respond that way. If we all start behaving that way, this chamber will not be governable by anybody. That's why we have a Speaker. It's not all the time that we will all think that the Speaker is treating us fairly. But so be it. We live with it because whatever it is, they will have to exercise control over the conversations that are taking place in the chamber. This is a very important statement, and I think the Honorable Kabiru was doing very well in his commentary. In fact, I noted so many things that I wanted to say, but I noticed that he was covering all of them. And we encourage the younger ones in the chamber to do well. I mean, sometimes I come and sit here and the whole day I say nothing. For today like this, I would have said nothing. But I just felt that World Radio Day is such an important matter that I should also lend my support to the statement that has been made. And I want to focus on responsible radio practice, which is a theme that has recurred several times in the comments made by some members of the House. I was going to build on what he said about Rwanda as an example. The genocide in Rwanda, from what the historians have said, was largely promoted using radio. And on radio, some tribes were demonized. And on radio, the killing, the maiming, the humiliation of some ethnic groups was idealized. It is ideal to do that. Was legitimated. It is legitimate for you to go and kill. And that was what really enabled the genocide to occur. And so, whilst radio is a powerful tool for development, as has been emphasized in today's statement, it can be very destructive if not managed well. I mean, I come from a constituency that has experienced a lot of violence in recent times. And consistently, radio has been the platform which people have used to incite violence. In the North, sometimes you listen to radio and you see that people are deliberately inciting violence. Then, of course, the issues of freedom of expression come up. And recently also, the radio stations have been participatory in the sense that they allow phone-ins. Sometimes the hosts in their commentary, they are guided because they are professional. The problem is those who are phoning in, who are not professionals, who are not guided in the way that they speak on radio. And they are faceless. And so they can be the ones actually spewing out all the violence, promoting ethnocentrism, promoting religious intolerance. And some of the hosts deliberately allow them. So they are not journalists, they have not been trained, and yet they have become regular fixtures on some radio stations. Every evening they will phone in. And when they phone in, they will say things that should never be said on radio. And when the security agencies come after the station, then there's an issue of, violation of freedom of expression. There's violation of press freedom. And yet we have a society that is characterized by its diversity. We are diverse ethnically, we are diverse religiously, and we are diverse in terms of our various social and economic, status. And these differences can easily be exploited by demagogues to cause divisions, to cause anarchy, and to bring down everything that we have invested in. And that is why we need to be heard on World Radio Day, cautioning that whilst radio is a powerful tool for building society positively, it is also a powerful weapon for destroying and raising the entire society to the ground. So I urge colleagues in our various engagements in our constituencies to try and then talk to those who own the radio stations, the hosts, about their responsibility to help us maintain the integrity of our democracy. You go around the country, and this country is blessed with a lot of literacy. I would say that a lot of the literacy that has been achieved in this country is largely a function of the radio station, even more than the classrooms. Even more than the classrooms. Our democracy is doing well largely because of the radio stations, because of the way that journalists and radio stations continue to educate the general populace. And so let's keep it that way. Let's protect radio freedom. Kabiru has already spoken a lot about the issues of financing, the issues about technology, the threat to radio as a result of the new media that is emerging, so I'll not belabor the point, but to commend the maker of the statement for such an important statement on an auspicious day like this. We missed the opportunity yesterday to make it, but better late than never. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, thank you very much. That brings us to the end of the statement on the World Radio Day. We have a statement on the Chocolate Day, 2 statements. We'll let them read same together. But before doing so, let me place on record that every speaker is here to guide based on the rules. And once we preside as speakers, we listen to everybody attentively and ensure that we operate within the rules. The maker of the statement, in making the statement, makes no reference to any occurrence within the current government or past government in relation to any radio station or any journalist in any manner whatsoever. Clearly, there is nothing in the statement that could generate into a debate. Therefore, in commenting on the statement, once we are talking about a specific occurrence, whether in the past government or within the current government, that clearly is likely to generate debate, which offends Order 93(5) of our own standing orders. So having listened to that under the current government, something happening in GH1, clearly that is a matter that will generate into a debate, because the category of the people that we are talking about would have no opportunity on the floor to defend themselves. So other members may get up to say they want to respond. So we need to be guided jealously by the rules. So if you engage in that and you are being admonished, that does not amount to any element of unfairness. So I take a great exception to the use of the word that I am being unfair to Dr. Kabiru. On this note, I will first call on the Minister for Tourism to deliver the first statement, and thereafter, Honorable Doyo would have the floor to also do so. We combine the 2 statements and contribute to it, and thereafter, we'll move to any other business. Honorable Minister, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, happy Chocolate Day. I'm grateful for the opportunity to make a statement on the celebration of National Chocolate Week, which is observed annually, culminating in the celebration of the National Chocolate Day, which coincides with Valentine's Day on 14th February. Mr. Speaker, this important national celebration was instituted to promote the consumption of locally produced chocolate and other chocolate-based products, highlight the health benefits of chocolate, and deepen awareness of cocoa's contribution to Ghana's economy, tourism, and national identity. The theme for this important celebration is Eat Chocolate, Stay Healthy, and Grow Ghana, with a sub-theme, Experience Ghana, share the cocoa love. Mr. Speaker, chocolate is a symbol of Ghana's agricultural excellence, industrial potential, tourism, identity, and national resilience. Ghana remains one of the world's leading producers of premium quality cocoa, and the crop continues to sustain millions of livelihoods across the agricultural value chain, from our hard-working farmers and transporters to processors, manufacturers, exporters to retailers. Mr. Speaker, this also forms an important part of the Black Star Experience, our flagship national tourism, culture, and creative arts program, which seeks to celebrate everything African and especially everything Ghanaian. Chocolate tourism, from cocoa farms to chocolate factories and tasting experiences, represents an exciting frontier for domestic tourism growth, youth engagement, and private sector participation, and that is what we are pursuing. Mr. Speaker, beyond consumption, cocoa represents significant opportunities for industrialization, job creation, and entrepreneurship, particularly for the youth. While Ghana is globally recognized for producing high-quality cocoa beans, we must continue to expand the value addition through local processing and chocolate manufacturing. Increasing domestic cocoa processing will create jobs in food technology, packaging, branding, logistics, agribusiness, and creative marketing, among others. When Ghanaians choose locally made chocolate, fugu, shea butter, crafts, etc., we are supporting Ghanaian farmers, strengthening local manufacturing, promoting tourism experiences, creating jobs for young people, and retaining value within our national economy. Indeed, every piece of Ghana-made chocolate consumed is an investment in Ghana's future. Our challenge as a country, Indeed, every piece of Ghana-made chocolate consumed is an investment in Ghana's future. Our challenge as a country now is to ensure we make chocolate affordable and accessible. Chocolate tourism, including factory visits, cocoa farm tours, chocolate tasting events, culinary demonstrations, and cultural showcases, offers a unique opportunity to diversify Ghana's tourism offerings and increase visitor spending. As part of efforts to promote domestic tourism, hotels, restaurants, and tourist sites across the country are encouraged during this period to feature chocolate-themed menus and experiences. This collaboration between agriculture, tourism, and creative arts demonstrates how intersector partnerships can drive inclusive economic growth. But, Mr. Speaker, we cannot look at the cocoa sector in isolation. The cocoa sector is affected by other sectors. The communities that plant the cocoa are the same communities at the mercy of galamseyers. We must all rise to the occasion and add our collective voices to the call to end galamsey, to protect our farmlands and our water bodies from destruction, and ultimately destroy our cocoa farms. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, the celebration of National Chocolate Week and National Chocolate Day calls on all Ghanaians to, 1, support locally made chocolate and cocoa products. 2, promote Ghana as a chocolate and cocoa tourism destination. On behalf of the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, I invite honorable members of this House and all Ghanaians to celebrate Chocolate Week by sharing of Ghanaian chocolate as a symbol of love, supporting local businesses, and sharing the cocoa story of Ghana with the world. Mr. Speaker, I want your permission to make a presentation to you, the clerk's office, and Right Honorable Speaker, and of course, every member in this chamber is going to receive their own bite of the Golden Tree chocolate. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. Honourable members, let me use the opportunity on behalf of the Right Honourable Speaker, myself, the clerk, and members that will soon be receiving the chocolate to thank the Honourable Minister for Culture, Tourism, Culture, and Creative Arts, Honorable Mama Abla Jifa Gomashi. Mama Jiramado Banto, we thank you sincerely for your kind gesture. I will then proceed to give the floor to Honorable Comfort Doyo Ganza to also make her statement on same subject matter. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to make this statement on the occasion of 14 February, which falls on Saturday, Ghana's National Chocolate Day, a day set aside to celebrate one of our most valuable natural resources, cocoa, and to promote the consumption of chocolate and other cocoa-based products made in Ghana. Mr. Speaker, National Chocolate Day is not only symbolic, it is strategic. It underscores our collective resolve to move beyond the export of raw cocoa beans to value addition, agro-processing, and industrialization, which remain critical pillars of national development. In this regard, I wish to commend His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama and his government for the renewed commitment towards industrialization, particularly policies aimed at strengthening local manufacturing, supporting agro-processing industries, the implementation of the 24-hour economic policy, and positioning Ghana to drive maximum economic benefit from its cocoa sector. These efforts align with our long-standing national aspiration to create jobs, enhance foreign exchange earning, and building a resilient economy. Mr. Speaker, I urge the government to continue and deepen this effort, especially by supporting cocoa processing companies, private sector particularly, and expanding markets for finished cocoa products by adding value to our cocoa beans here at home. We not only increase national revenue, but also empower Ghana workers, particularly women entrepreneurs across the value chain. Mr. Speaker, while National Chocolate Day coincides with Valentine's Day, it is important that we also take a moment to advise our youth, our young people who form the backbone of our nation's future. I respectfully encourage the youth in particular to celebrate responsibly and to avoid unprotected sex activities during this period of festivity. Our young people must remain mindful of the fact that they are future leaders with great prospects, not only for themselves, but also for their families and for Ghana as a whole. Responsible choices today will safeguard their health, preserve their ambitions, and secure their contributions to national development tomorrow. Mr. Speaker, as we enjoy Ghanaian chocolate and celebrate love, in its trust sense, love for the country, responsibility, and self-discipline, let us recommit ourselves to build a prosperous, healthy, and industrialized Ghana. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Honorable members, the two statements are ably made. They are before you. It's now time for contribution by members on the statements. Yes, honorable member, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I must commend the makers of the statements, our Honorable Minister and the Deputy Chief Whip. Mr. Speaker, tomorrow's celebration, which we are eulogizing today, happens to be one of a kind that matters so much in the calendar of this country and the world at large. In as much as we want to celebrate the love that exists between friends and that of lovers, it is also important that we also mark this day as a chocolate day, and our statement comes to confirm. The theme celebrated this time is to eat chocolate, stay healthy, and grow Ghana. And this is most timely as our farmers of the cocoa, which is actually used in the production of chocolate, comes to a time that we need to appreciate them and thank them for the good services they do for Mother Ghana. In fact, it's because we deem them so unique. That is why this day has been set aside to celebrate, targeting as Chocolate Day. So I want to use this opportunity to thank the cocoa farmers and tell them their work as they do for Mother Ghana is equally noticed. And that is why today has been set aside to celebrate them. And in as much as we have this chocolate, we also want to say thank you for the good work they do for us. Mr. Speaker, it is time that we look at how we are going to make chocolate much less expensive, as the first statement read indicated. In as much as we want people to patronize chocolate, it is too expensive for our ordinary people to patronize, especially when it comes to Pro East, where my constituency, they see it to be kind of having to live some kind of lifestyle to purchase one chocolate. So to them, chocolate is not a must or a must-have. They will prefer to buy other things than to buy chocolate. But the medicinal and the health benefits that come with chocolate is enormous. And I want to seize this opportunity to also add my voice to the minister, calling for a reduced price when it comes to occasions like this, so that we can share in the love the whole country. Also, to also make emphasis on the fact that when it gets to Valentine's Day, people will prefer to share other things that are promoting love. For instance, I know Ghana is commission authorities sharing condoms. The youth today will prefer to share those things or buy those stuff. But in as much as we are looking at spreading love, let us seize this as an opportunity to buy more chocolate and then share it among ourselves. I am enjoying the scene here, and in as much as we are doing this, let us share it in our families as well, in our conferences as well. And in conclusion, I want to say that the industrialization of our produce and making sure that we add value to our cocoa when we produce them is far, far beyond reach. And want to thank the President for adding part of the 24-hour economy that we are going to add value to our cocoa bean before we get them out of this country. I think this will add up, give our youth more jobs to do, and also create the enabling environment for chocolates to be more affordable, so that a year by this time or a time like this, we could share chocolates, we could share chocolates, and then make sure our other colleagues at the other side equally get to partake in it.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Yes, Honorable Asafoji.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I vividly recall this day, and the Hansards too are here. Today marks the second year or time we are celebrating World Chocolates Day in this chamber. The Speaker, and I want to commend both honorable members, particularly the Minister for Tourism and the Deputy Majority Whip that made this statement. The Speaker, there were some profound points that were made in both statements that I make reference to, with your respect. Chocolate is a symbol, and this was said by the Minister. Chocolate is a symbol of Ghana's agricultural excellence, top notch. The Speaker, I want to associate heavily with this statement made by the Minister. The Speaker, the Minister again said, when Ghanaians choose chocolate, fugu, etc., they are supporting the Ghanaian farmers. Mr. Speaker, another excellent line or pitch that I want to associate with. Mr. Speaker, then the Deputy Chief Whip also said something, that I urge the government to continue and deepen the effort, especially supporting cocoa farmers. Mr. Speaker, this is another statement made by the Deputy Chief Whip, which I support. Largely, Mr. Speaker, we cannot celebrate such a very important chocolate day without celebrating our farmers that through their effort and toils, we are enjoying this cocoa. Mr. Speaker, I come from a cocoa constituency. Virtually everybody in my constituency owns a cocoa farm and does cocoa. Mr. Speaker, my side of the house rejected the chocolate as a protest and a sign of cocoa farmers that have been haircut. Mr. Speaker, we cannot be enjoying a chocolate by cocoa farmers that have been haircut. Mr. Speaker, we rejected, and it's a sign of protesting the cocoa farmers that are enjoying haircuts which they do not want. Mr. Speaker, it is also important to say that
Honorable Safoje, hold it, yes. Majority Chief Whip.
Mr. Speaker, we are encouraged to be candid in our comments and submissions on the floor. The protocol that we follow every year when this is done is that chocolates are given to both sides to be distributed. We have just done that. It is totally needless for you to say that your side rejected chocolate by way of protest. It's absolutely incorrect. and you need to withdraw that and apologize.
Honorable members, I indicated when statements are made, you contribute to the statement. If you also want to make a different statement, you can write the statement and bring the statement for admission. When you pass the test, then you come here and deliver it. And we should try as much as possible to avoid making comments which comments are likely to generate debates. That is why Standing Order 93 that regulates statement is very clear that in contributing or in commenting on the statement, you don't say anything that could generate into debate. The rule is there for a purpose. You may go ahead and conclude your comment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, respectfully, I commend your prowess when it comes to the rudiments of the House. I do not intend to generate debate, Mr. Speaker, but it must also be understood and well within the space and context that largely, when you say statement generate into debate, it is debatable. Because my brother made a statement and was referencing or inferring 24 hours. For me, it can be a debatable issue for me because I do not see how the 24-hour what he made has something to do with chocolate. Mr. Speaker, it depends on who is listening and who wants to make a debate out of anything because every word can be debatable, Mr. Speaker. But respectfully, like you have said, I would respect that. And again, Mr. Speaker, a chocolate was given to my side. And the side here decided that we cannot take the chocolate in protest of the cocoa farmer because the cocoa farmer is not happy. I cannot be enjoying a chocolate that cocoa farmers are not happy with. The cocoa farmers were promised a huge sort of promises. Today, just yesterday before the chocolate day, the cocoa farmers were given a haircut of now 3,600 per bag to 2,500, over 1,001 cities. I cannot be jubilating and enjoying cocoa or chocolate on the behalf of my cocoa farmers. Even when they see me on screen doing that, they won't be happy with me. So I want to place on record that my side, we rejected the chocolate just in protest for the cocoa farmer. We are not taking this chocolate this year because we are not happy with how our government is giving haircuts to the cocoa farmers. Mr. Speaker, so I want to conclude by saying that we cannot have a World Chocolate Day without celebrating the cocoa farmer or protecting the cocoa farmer or the interests of the cocoa farmer being held in high esteem. So, Mr. Speaker, it is important that if we want to be enjoying the chocolate day and promoting cocoa, it is important, promoting chocolate, it is important that we look at the welfare of the cocoa farmer that have been neglected by the John Dramani Mahama government. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, when we are doing our politics, let's do it well. Why do I say when we are doing our politics, let's do it well? You are talking about cocoa farmers, and you are saying that because the amount that cocoa farmers are getting for their beans, you will not take chocolate. If everybody else stops taking chocolate, nobody will give them anything for that cocoa beans. If everybody stops taking chocolate, how are they going to sell their beans? So that's why I say when you are doing your politics, do it well. When you want to do politics, do it well. It is those who want to take chocolate who will get cocoa farmers a higher price for their beans. Because the cocoa beans is for chocolate making. If we don't eat chocolate, how are they going to get the money? So you are leading a campaign. You are leading a campaign for the rejection of the taking of chocolate. And it is your campaign that will hurt the farmers. So we know you. We know you. You want to discourage Ghanaians from taking the chocolate. We are saying that let's process the chocolate, the beans locally, so that we will make chocolate locally. And we're encouraging every Ghanaian to take our chocolate so that farmers can get money. And you want to incite people not to take chocolate so that farmers will not get their money. So, Mr. Speaker, that's why I say, when you are doing your politics, be careful what you are saying. Mr. Speaker, I am going to cause his pocket to be searched because I know there's chocolate in his pocket. His pocket should be searched. Mr. Speaker, his pocket should be searched. Where is the marshal? The marshal should go and search his pocket. After taking the chocolate and hiding it in his pocket, then he now wants to deceive other people not to take chocolate. Mr. Speaker, I think others want to make contributions.
Honourable members, I think we can all see the reason for which the rules tries to prevent us from making comments that are likely to generate debate. In commenting on statement, there are certain things, once you say it, it attracts response from the other side. And then the debate begins. This is unwarranted in making statements and in contributing to statements. So, Honorable Hajia Ladi Ayamba, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to comment on the statement ably made by the Minister for Tourism and my sister, Honorable Comfort Doyo. Honorable Speaker, for the 4 terms I have been in Parliament, we have year in, year out been making this statement. And I think it's very important. We all know the importance of cocoa, and we know the benefits. We know how much it contributes to our economy, and for that matter, the individuals, especially farmers. Mr. Speaker, it is interesting that we all sat here today and we noticed that when the boxes of the chocolate was distributed, at a stage, chocolate was brought and some sent to our colleagues at the opposite side. And it was given directly to Jerry because we want to project the use of chocolate. And when Jerry collected it, he even demanded for more. He demanded for more. Mr. Speaker, I want to state emphatically that he did the best and he did the right thing. We've also been at that side. They brought chocolate, they distributed, and we took it in order to make sure that we were all on the same platform. Mr. Speaker, we have said so many things years in, years out about chocolate. But I have always, and I will continue, Mr. Speaker, to recommend that due to the cost of chocolate, which has already been mentioned by some colleagues, if we could all agree and make a recommendation that at least every pupil or student should have a chocolate, just one bar of chocolate, either every week or every 2 weeks. It will go a long way to help us. Mr. Speaker, as I'm commenting on the statement, I don't have cocoa in my area. I have the advantage of eating or tasting cocoa. But how many people, especially the students, how many of them, those who will project, those who need to understand, those who, even some of the farmers who produce cocoa have never eaten chocolate. We need to make some concerted effort to make sure that every Ghanaian should have a taste of chocolate. And it's very important. Mr. Speaker, even as we are talking about this chocolate today, I can assure you that if we say we are bringing all MPs, all parliamentary service workers, all the staff, and say we are giving them chocolate, we would have done a very good job. But how many of them have had even a bar each? That is a very big question left to us. There are others that will only see us talking, but they haven't had it. Why can we not even start from ourselves? Mr. Speaker, when we talk about production and how it can help our economy, we have said that local production. And when we do the local production, this is where jobs will come up, a lot of people will benefit, many people will learn better and even understand the production of chocolate. So when we talk about resetting, and we talk about ensuring that our economy grows, and that the 24-hour economy actually thrives, we are talking about local production and using our own cocoa beans. We should use our own cocoa beans and ensure that our people work, our farmers benefit. Mr. Speaker, I can assure you that if we go into local production seriously, even the price of our cocoa beans will increase and we will not be waiting for anybody to buy cocoa beans from us. And so if we say that it will help in the resetting agenda and increase jobs, and for that matter, the 24-hour economy will thrive, this is what we are saying. Mr. Speaker, I thank you very much for the opportunity, and I hope that next year by this time, when we are going to talk about chocolate, most of the students and peoples would have had chocolate, even in the rural areas, to have a taste. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes. Yes, Honorable Jerry Ahmed Shaibu.
Mr. Speaker, I stand first of all to commend the maker of the statement, in fact the makers of the respective statements, and to say that I have had an experience of benefiting from scholarship from Cocoa Board.
This one.
Speaker, so my secondary school days, I had a full-time scholarship, and this was as a result of the very hard-working support from cocoa farmers. Speaker, so from 1 to 5, I didn't pay a penny. And let me take this opportunity to say kudos to all cocoa farmers wherever they find themselves. But Speaker, what is the current situation? What is happening today? Let me quote from the statement of the Minister of Tourism, and this was what she said, and I quote, "Ghana remains one of the world's leading producers of premium quality cocoa, and the crop continues to sustain millions of livelihoods across the agricultural value chain. From our hard-working farmers and transporters to processors, manufacturers, exporters to retailers, unquote, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, today we are here and there's nothing to say about the hardworking farmers. Mr. Speaker, cocoa that used to be sold from 3,600 or something, Speaker, it has come down to 2,500. Speaker, it is like ISIS. Speaker, this is like ISIS. To it, it has been reduced like nothing. This is the way we are treating cocoa farmers. Speaker, if you visit cocoa farms as of yesterday, farmers have started cutting down, felling trees, cocoa trees, just because of the announcement that was made yesterday. Speaker, people have suffered high blood pressures and they have culminated into strokes. Speaker, to it, they have suffered for nothing. Speaker, as we speak,
Honorable Jerry, I recognize Honorable Jerry.
Speaker, when I was speaking, when the lady, my colleague on the other side, mentioned my name, Speaker, you didn't allow it. Speaker, you didn't allow it. I am a leader in this house, Speaker, respectfully. And when I'm talking, Speaker, with all due deference to you,
Jerry,
when she mentioned my name, Ajala mentioned my name, you did not allow me.
Let me explain to you.
Very well, Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, from you speaking as a leader, I'm coming to the leadership. He has no opportunity to speak again. And for Hadia, I indicated to you, Jerry, that I will be giving you the floor to speak. Didn't I indicated to you?
Speaker, that is so.
Yes.
But I do not know why he's standing, so I'll let you. Yes, Speaker, please
so
proceed.
Don't create the impression as if I was unfair to you. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, this is a House of Records. And I heard my colleague, the Honorable Deputy Minority Whip, says on this floor that cocoa farmers are cutting down cocoa trees. Mr. Speaker, if he has any evidence, he should lay that evidence before you for the whole world to know that it is true that the farmers are cutting down cocoa trees. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Jerry.
Speaker, thank you very much. Just to also let, Speaker, just to make this point that when a senior in the person of Honorable Bejia stands, I expect him to come under the standing orders and not to unnecessarily interject. This standing up to interject was unnecessary and unheard of. Speaker, I was trying to make the point that as a beneficiary, and Speaker, I have evidence. This is the evidence. Come and see the trees and you should listen to the audio behind it. That, this is it. I am critical, Speaker, that is the evidence. And I can tender that to you, Speaker. Speaker, as I started by saying, cocoa farmers have been the reason for which most of us have attained higher levels of education. And I'm one of them. I had the opportunity of benefiting from scholarship from Form 1 to Form 5. Some of us who may also be seated here may also have been beneficiaries of the same scholarship. Speaker, today, the promises which were made to cocoa farmers, Speaker, to it, attention is gone, is vanished, it's in the water. We do not know what is happening to them, and it is sad that we are here and we are virtually eulogizing chocolate. How do we get the beans to do or to produce the chocolate when the cocoa farmers' farm is now being turned into Galamsey sites? Galamsey sites. That when the cocoa farmer is now suffering what we call serious haircuts from Pong, Tokyo Joe, now to Sakura. Speaker, and then we are here And we are saying that chocolate should be part of Black Star experience. When the people who are supposed to benefit from the hard work, as put rightly by the minister, are now the people you have come to turn them into poor men and women. Speaker, let me conclude by saying that God should listen to the prayer of each and every cocoa farmer, to the extent that they will not suffer from any BP, to the extent that they will not suffer from any stroke, to the extent that for all their hard work, there will be re-emergence of a party that can save them, for them to have their cocoa grown in a better environment, so that they can earn proper living, and that it won't be the poultry sum that they are currently receiving. Speaker, I thank you very much for this opportunity.
Yes, majority leadership.
Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity to comment on the statement ably made by the Honorable Minister for Tourism to commemorate the day as World Chocolate Day. Mr. Speaker, I have been in this house for about 9 years, and every year we do this. But for the first time, we have departed from the terms of the statement and gone to town. Mr. Speaker, I was here with you when the government brought a facility agreement to this house, as it were from the African Development Bank, to extend cocoa farms in this country, rehabilitate them, irrigate them, resurvey them, to treat swollen stool disease. Speaker, the record will bear me out. The Auditor General's report of 2024 will bear me out that there was a drawdown of $334 million out of $500 million that was granted. And yet, the cocoa farms were not irrigated, the swollen stool diseases were not treated, the farms were not extended, new seedlings or hybrids were not extended to farmers. The rows that they told us, the cocoa rows that they would do, were not extended to the farms. Speaker, the end result was that our tonnage of in excess of 1 million metric tons. Mr. Speaker, it dropped to 450,000 metric tons as at the end of December 2024. Mr. Speaker, so the problems that the farmers are facing presently was a problem that Jerry and his side left. And when this government is taking pragmatic steps, proactive steps to reform the sector, and Jerry says that we shouldn't celebrate World Chocolate Day, we shouldn't eat chocolate. Mr. Speaker, like my leader said, we will do everything to revitalize the cocoa farms, so that the beans that the farmers are crying that they don't have market for, or the prices are low, the market prices will be boosted, so that they can have high prices for their yield. Speaker, as we speak, the finance minister has given directions that the cocoa farmers be paid. What is the issue? Last year, just last year, when government increased the prices of cocoa, now the minority said, why did the government not raise the prices of cocoa in response to the world market price? Today, government is fixing cocoa prices in accordance with world market price. They say they don't know. So when we increase price and it's not according to world market price, you have a problem. When we adjust price according to world market price too, you have a problem. Speaker, we will leave the tangentials to the substantive. The issue is that today is World Chocolate Day. and we are being encouraged to enjoy the World Chocolate Day. And we are encouraged to do so because there are a lot of factories that process these chocolates, even in Ghana. And foreigners are encouraged to patronize it so that the factories can expand, so that more jobs can be created. That is what I think that we should focus on. We are tying this to our identity, where just last Wednesday has been declared as the National Fugu Day. And Mr. Speaker, if we begin to do things like this, it will boost our local factories, more jobs will be created, the economy will blossom. So I want to invite the minority side that it is not everything that you play politics with. When we are confronted with issues that has to do with the national identity, we need to unite and speak to certain factors that will promote our national identity. Speaker, I want to urge everyone that we should replicate this in our various constituencies, so that every year we can do this, even in a selected school in our constituencies. I want to thank the minister for bringing this to the attention of the House. And as a ministry, I want to encourage her to also encourage institutions under her to do this in the various regions and districts. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity. The politics must end. Thank you.
Our members, statement time is ended. The honorable members, I hope we've not enjoyed the contributions to the statements on the World Chocolate Day. I have not enjoyed it because you've all departed from the very reason underpinning the making of the statement, using the opportunity wrongly to engage in politicking and debating. Honourable members, going forward, let's reflect on our rules and be guided as such anytime statements are made and comments are welcome on the statement. Having ended the statement time, Majority Leader, is there any indication?
Speaker, may we pray that we take item number 1 on addendum 2, other paper addendum 2. Speaker.
Our members, the application is to take the item numbered 1 on other paper addendum 2. Yes.
Speaker, we are not opposed.
Very well. Honourable members, at commencement of public business presentation of papers, item numbered 1 on order paper addendum 2. Chairman of the committee.
Report of the Committee on Energy on the Master Gas Agreement between the Government of the Republic of Ghana, represented by the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition, and Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC, GNPC Exploration and Production Limited, Talo Ghana Limited, Cosmos Energy Ghana HC, Cosmos Energy Ghana Investment, and Petrosa Ghana Limited as contractor parties.
Our members, the item has been duly presented and it is for distribution to honorable members. Yes.
Speaker, the sense of the House is that we bring the curtains down on today's business. Speaker, by my reckoning, we haven't done 5 hours, and therefore I move that in the absence of any further business, the House be adjourned till Tuesday 2 p.m. Tuesday 2 p.m. Mr. Speaker.
Yes, motion move for adjournment. Any seconder?
Yes, Speaker, I second the motion. And we will not have any addendum.
All members, motion move and seconded. It is for the consideration of the House. All members, I'll put a question. The question is, as many as are in favor of the motion, say aye. Those against, say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The House is accordingly adjourned till Tuesday, the 17th day of February 2026 at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yetro.